Peace and blessings to the chosen. Shalom. First and foremost, all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the icon pushing his truth, sincerity, and charity. I'm the brother Yalad, and I'm responding to this video here. Where this Northern Kingdom brother goes into another Northern Kingdom Jake just having how do I even summarize it? Just doing some hateful cultural appropriation of some sort, you could say, and he goes about how generally all Latinos generally have some form of self-resentment or resentment or hatred toward their darker complected Latino brethren, and they all generally worship the so-called white man, and I just want to say that that's not just a Latino thing. That's the world thing, you know. So Revelation 12:9, it says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Right? And his angels are his messengers and his fighter birds and his aircrafts. Right? All of his false prophets and his angels, his warbirds, aircrafts and whatnot. That's what that goes into. But who went around the world and told the nations to worship this image? Who told the nations democracy? Who told the nations white supremacy? That was Satan that did that. So we're not how you say overreacting or being dramatic when we tell you that the self-proclaimed white man is the devil. He is. The brother man is not he doesn't have tanks and embassies in all continents around the world. The brother man ain't holding his finger over the nuclear button. You know, it ain't the Latino man that got nuclear silos and nuclear submarines in every major continent and ocean. You see what I'm saying? And that's why he's the devil. Like you can't say that this man is not who has done this. It's even so to the point, Matthew 24:22, it says, "Except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So no flesh be saved mean what? All extinction of all life. Whose finger is hovering over the button of all death and destruction? Now, of course, the Lord, controls everything. But if we talking about a wicked creature roaming about to destroy, and all they've done is divide, steal, and kill, right? Who's doing that? Who's done that? Who has a history of doing that? And they set up that caste system. Mahora La Raza. These Idumean Spaniards, Idumean Dutchmen, Idumean Englishmen, they set up those standards and those ideologies and those doctrines that the darker a complected person was, the less intelligent that they were. This USA is known in multiple cultures as some high evil entity. It says the dragon called the devil and Satan. In Islam, in the major Islam culture, the U.S. is known as the Great Satan, and the Tiny Tots is known as the Little Satan. what you call it, in Rastafarianism and even other cultures, the U.S. is called Babylon, and we know today that the U.S. is Babylon. So the U.S. is known by multiple cultures as some wicked, high, evil, demonic place. That's why it says called Satan and the devil. He's literally called that. The people of the Orient, they call Esau white devils, right? And I think they scrubbed it off the internet, but you used to be able to search in a tab bar, and the AI overview would tell you. You ask them, where are the Edomites today? Who are the Edomites today? And it told you. And I'm more likely I'm putting a thumbnail. That generally it says generally all Europeans, and it's referring to self-proclaimed white people. And that's the Google. That's the AI saying that. Elder Malcolm had posted that years ago. And I made sure I screenshot it before they scrubbed it off the internet. I don't think you could search it in the search tab no more. But Lord will, I'll put it on a thumbnail for you to see. Ecclesiastes 10:6, it says, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. And that's exactly what that is. That one statue where it's I believe Teddy Roosevelt, or I could be wrong, it could be another Idumean. And by Idumean, that's just the Greek way of saying Edomite. But it could be another Idumean, but it was some well-known Idumean who was sitting on a horse, and on his left side was a Negro with a yoke of iron around his neck, right? A chain. And then on his right side was a Native American with a yoke of iron and a chain. And it was basically symbolizing how he enslaved both the Judah and Ephraim, how he enslaved both Judah and Israel, Joseph. And that's exactly what happened in this place in the America continent. Joseph gets it first, Judah gets it worse. That's exactly what has happened. He raped and robbed and lied over and over to Gad and Reuben. And if you don't know, that's the so-called natives and Seminoles. And while also doing that, more of his Idumean brothers also defrauded and murdered and genocided on Issachar and Zebulon and Asher and Naphtali, which is the Meshikas, the Mayans, the people from current day Colombia through Brazil to Uruguay and Peru, the Incas, and even the people of Chile and Argentina, the native indigenous inhabitants round about. But he did that to the Northern Kingdom, and then while also dragging the Southern Kingdom from another part of the earth, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and robbing and destroying them also. And in this process, he set up the caste system that put him on top of the world. So that every time you go into certain places, these places have some form of racism. When you go to these other countries and stuff of that nature, or when these other countries come to America and they set up shop in Negro neighborhoods so that they rob the community. And it talks about that in the curses of Deuteronomy 28, that the stranger above among thee. So yeah, the strangers do come into Jake neighborhoods and get high. They prosper off of Jake. They participate in it. And that money, they don't put that back into the community they got it from. They give it back to their own people. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So that was one of the curses, that these strangers, these other nations, would basically come and participate in using us and profiting off of us. This is that world of trade. This is the World Trade Center, that land of traffic. Ezekiel 17 and 3, it says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, a great eagle with great wings, long winged, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came to Lebanon and took the highest branch of cedar. So it's an eagle, which the eagle always represents Esau, usually, not always. I take that back, but usually the eagle represents Esau, and the diverse colors and feathers is talking about Babylon. You can be whatever you want to be here. You can do it all. You can what did it say? Be gay, do drugs, hail Satan. That's the MO of Babylon, right? But that's actually a song. You could look that up. But the diverse colors is all the wickedness that you could participate in, which is abundant. It says, and he cropped off of his young twigs and carried it into the land of traffic. He set it in the city of merchants. And where's the World Trade Center? It's in the U.S. It's in Babylon the Great. So the city merchants are all the strangers coming to and what's the product? The product is Jake. Jake is the product. Jake is the spoils. Jake is who gave Jake for a spoil? Let me get that. Jake is the product. Jake is the let me see where. Isaiah 42 and 24. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to robbers? Did not the Lord Yahweh, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient to his law. And we were put in this situation to be abused by these nations, not to be destroyed, but because we provoked them to wrath. Nevertheless, it is are we not the nation spoiled and robbed in the prison houses? Let me see. Same chapter, is it not? Yeah. Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver it, for a spoil, and none say it restore. So yeah, who else fits this? Who else fits this? Jake is the number one population of prison. Jake is the main inhabitant of the prisons. The U.S. is the biggest prison system, and most of its prisoners are Jake. Who's sitting in the ghetto? Who's sitting in the barrios, in the bodegas, in the reservations? Who's the people that had their land taken from them and their customs taken from them, their language taken to them and forced to speak another language? Who's the people whose identity was erased and taken from them? Let me see if I can grab the one scripture, and then I'll stop it at that. But if I can find this one scripture, I want the scripture that talks about how they said that they got together and to make the name of Israel no more in remembrance. But I mean, I guess it's probably the tumult scripture in Psalms. It might be that one. Mm-hmm. Here you go. Psalms 83 and 4. All these nations came together, it says, and they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance. So who did this happen to? It says under the whole heavens, nothing worse happened to any other people than it happened to the Israelites. Jerusalem, which is just saying the Israelites. So who did this happen to? Who's considered the bottom of the world? Who's considered the offscouring and the undesirable? When it says nation not desired. Yeah, that Zephaniah 2 and 1. It talks about getting together. Yeah, a nation not desired. Cause why? They love our rhythm, but they don't love our blues. Is to similar to it. I'm probably butchering that saying, but it's a proverb among Jake that they want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues. They desire to profit off of us. They like us when we make them money. They like us when we make them happy, when we entertain them, because we are entertaining. We are the salt of the earth, right? we dominate the sports and the music industries and general entertainment, and they love that. But when it comes to you know, the sorrow, when it comes to the oppression, they don't stand with us or intend to help us, but continue to profit off us. And that, Lord willing, this whole video is edifying. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Signing off. Shalom.